Now here we go. This is what happened. This man is seen now punching a man in a wheelchair. This man in the wheelchair was an agitator, but what person, it says proud white Christian man on his t-shirt, and then with the t-shirt open, he punches another man. This person looks like a paid, he's 100% some paid. Man, these guys are such liars.
Hi, my name is Aaron, this is my show Reeducation, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Calgary Freedom Rally and how a self-proclaimed white supremacist punched a man bound to a wheelchair, and how a potential candidate for the mayor of that city endorsed the whole ordeal. So without any further ado, let's get into it. On March 20th, in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, there was a freedom rally that was held at Prince's Island Park in the heart of downtown. This freedom rally was set up under the guise of it being basically an anti-mask, pro-liberty rally, while at the same time it was being held on the exact same weekend as White Pride Worldwide Day. Among a lot of the vehicles and attendees, there was a lot of different iconography depicting all sorts of conservative and very far right-wing groups, along with a couple of people that were wearing Jewish stars, which many seen as being an anti-Semitic dog whistle. During the event, a disabled activist bound to a wheelchair seen the correlation between the Freedom Rally and the White Pride Worldwide Day and decided that it was probably a good idea to go down and take a look at what was going on. From what I've been able to gather from this story, apparently the activist and his wife went down to the event and were soon approached by a man shown here wearing a white shirt with bright red lettering saying "Proud White Christian Man." Of course, also surrounded by iron crosses, which are all known Nazi imagery and dog whistles. He was also carrying a Canadian national flag with a spooky, evil creature hand stretched across it, which I don't know exactly what that is, but it is weird. From this point forward, I'd like to read a statement from the activist himself about exactly what happened, and the statement goes as follows. Today I fought a Nazi. Today, the alt-right decided to have a rally in solidarity with other international events under the guise of a freedom rally. For those that don't know, today is International White Pride Worldwide Day, and the organizers of the Calgary Freedom Rally decided to act in solidarity with these international events, so we decided to go down and monitor the situation. To watch certain members of the alt-right, Canadian patriots, and of course the legitimate Nazis and white supremacists. After a fairly uneventful couple of hours, a couple of verbal spats and being told Antifa go home, their rally came to an end. Suddenly, I seen a guy coming at me with a Canadian flag with a black hand across the flag and a t-shirt that said "Proud White Christian Man" with multiple iron crosses on it. So, I called him out. I told him Nazis and white supremacists weren't fucking welcome here. And he replied with some bullshit, so I rolled up to him and told him again. At that point, he decided to grab the back of my head and then attempted to shove me. I grabbed his shirt and pulled him towards me, and in the process, ripped off his crucifix. After a second of a stunned look on his face, the photo below took place. He hit me 3 times, all 3 of which were like being hit with pillows. At this point, my wife got in his face, and he decided to turn his flagpole into a weapon. He stabbed her directly in the chest, which is now bruised and scraped up pretty good. Her chest hurts when she breathes, and we may have to take a trip to the ER later tonight. After stabbing her, he turned toward me, and I grabbed the flagpole, and a friend grabbed the other end of his flagpole. We snapped it in half and pulled it out of his hands, and he ran through me, smashing me onto the concrete, sideways out of my chair. After which, another person stepped in, grabbed him, and pushed him away from us. Before I could even get into my chair, we were surrounded by the police. After the man was shoved, he stumbled backwards and fell down a hill. Beside my wife, a cop decided that he would grab her from behind, hands around her neck, run her backwards, and slammed her down onto a concrete planter. The cop's reasoning later for doing what he did to her was, "I didn't realize you were a woman. I thought you were a man. I watched you shove him down the hill." Which the pig didn't see shit. He came in on his bicycle and wiped out, afterwards decided to power trip on the closest person he saw. And his final excuse, you're an Antifa group and you came here to start a problem, to which I responded, I don't give a fuck where I am. If I see someone wearing Nazi shit, racist shit, I'm calling them the fuck out. We didn't fight a war against fascism and Nazi scumbags like this piece of shit just to let it happen again. I'm so sick of this shit, of the right wing being indoctrinated by assholes like this and pushing them further and further down a path to fascism. The next time someone tries to tell me that this shit doesn't happen in Canada, that racism doesn't exist here, that Nazis are no longer around, or whatever bullshit fence-sitter excuse, here's your proof. And I want to reiterate that this was a statement written by a disabled activist bound to a wheelchair who was struck repeatedly in the face, assaulted by a fascist neo-Nazi. According to unconfirmed reports, allegedly the man even proclaimed to be a Nazi when asked about it by one of the activists that were there. Now, I'd like to say that this was all that happened with this event, and that it was over after the Nazi got caught punching a man in a wheelchair. But unfortunately, the whole ordeal was fully endorsed by a mayoral candidate named Kevin J. Johnston, who went on to his social media later that night and said this.
Kevin J. Johnston here. I apologize that we're super dark here. We're on our way back from Saskatoon to Calgary, and we just saw, thanks pal, we just caught the news that Antifa came in from Edmonton to Calgary, did nothing but cause trouble, and then beat up, assaulted an old man who's 70 years of age.
Sick.
You people are disgusting.
Sick.
You are fascists. What you do is illegal. You are terrorists. Antifa, it's in your best interest to begin vacating Calgary now. Because the day I take office, I'll be declaring you a terrorist organization.
Now, you might recognize Kevin J. Johnston because he recently made international news by creating a coffee company called Wasted Native. And for those of you who don't appreciate racism, content warning, but the tagline on the coffee itself says, "Forget gas, huff this." Of course, that is not even close to all of the antics that this Kevin J. Johnston person has gotten up to. He's been at this whole right-wing grift game for a few years now, and has associated himself with all sorts of right-wing figureheads across Canada, including Ezra Levant, who's a far-right commentator and activist that hosts one of the shows on Rebel News, which is essentially the Canadian version of Blaze TV or the Daily Wire. Basically a far right-wing bullshit hub that endorses all kinds of things like QAnon conspiracies, anti-mask garbage, and essentially tries to ride the coattails of the far-right American conservatives that Canadian conservatives always seem to idolize and look up to. And he's also been seen with Faith Goldie and a number of other alt-right figures. He tries to call himself the most censored man in Canada, as he's had his YouTube channel and his Twitter both revoked. So now he's on a whole bunch of other platforms like BitChute and something called Gorf? Apparently he has 30 followers on Gorf? Definitely don't fuck with somebody that has 30 followers on Gorf. Gorf.social. It's not even a Gorf.com. They couldn't even afford a .com. Fucking Gorf. In his past, allegedly he had to pay out a $2.5 million lawsuit for Islamophobic defamation of a business owner in Toronto. Apparently he said that the business owner was funding terrorist groups and called him a terrorist himself. Of course, the business owner was a Muslim, and this is something that this Kevin J. Johnston guy does all the time. In this specific instance, I believe that he was trying to offer up a reward for people that would get video evidence of Muslims praying in school, but this whole shtick is something that he's done even recently, where he videotaped himself essentially attacking and harassing an Asian health inspector. In the middle of the tirade, he started to accuse this Asian man of being funded by the Chinese government and a bunch of other very bonkers conspiracy theories.
Pastor Archer Palwaski's about to have church, and these guys are here taking photographs.
This is the face of Nazi. That's how Nazi looks like. This is the face of communism and socialism.
Why are you taking photographs of everybody?
Please open up. Please open up.
Why are you taking up? Why are you here? Why are you here? You took pictures of children. Are you a pedophile? These are Calgary peace officers. They're like bylaw officers, right? No one's going to touch them.
Out. Rouse.
No one, yes.
Out.
Good.
Out. Go
Okay.
harass some Muslims if you want. We'll see how this works for you.
Okay, good. Get out of here. Get out of here.
This is democratic Canada. This is not China. I think he's in the wrong country, this guy.
Well, hold on. What's he doing?
Oh, he's running away because that's what the cowards do.
So is he taking pictures too?
He's taking
Oh!
pictures, yeah. That's the
Why are you taking pictures of
that's
children?
the Chinese health inspector shipped by the communist China.
Why are you taking photographs of children? Why do you take photos of babies? Is this part of a plan? Are you scouting out babies for kidnap for a later time?
You're not welcome here. Go harass Walmart. Go harass Costco.
That's the health inspector. I know who that is. Okay? That's the Calgary health inspector. Pastor Arthur!
Go where you came from. Go to Saudi Arabia. Go to China. Go to Russia. Over there,
right.
you will fit perfectly.
There he is, everybody. What happened?
Well, what happened was that our children and our wives are being intimidated by a government, the Chinese government, sending their troops, their Chinese people. As a shepherd of this church, I say, not an inch, you devils. Go back where you came from because you're not welcome here. Chinese government, communism and socialism and pedophiles are not allowed in this church. They're not welcome here.
Of course, this comes on the heel of an extreme blow-up of anti-Asian racism that's going on in Calgary and in Alberta and probably all across the entire Western world right now, thanks to the COVID virus and the right wing constantly calling it China virus and blaming China for basically the lockdowns and all of this.
It's the first time Jessica Lau has seen this video since the summer. Reliving that racial interaction, surprisingly difficult.
So I didn't really think that looking at the video would really bring up any other emotions, but it really still is quite triggering.
The video capturing the moment when a man on a bicycle spits at her and then directs a racial slur towards her.
I don't think I will forget that, but for sure use it as a reminder that the stuff does happen and it is going to continue happening.
It's why she and others continue to speak out, especially in light of the most recent incident, a mass shooting in Atlanta. 6 of the 8 people killed were women of Asian descent. The homicides, a flashpoint for rising anti-Asian sentiment in North America. In Vancouver, hate crimes against Asians went up 700% between 2019 and 2020. These crimes are also up in Toronto. Calgary police say they don't yet have a breakdown for racialized crime, but acknowledge there is growing violence.
Anecdotally, we can say that there has been an increase in hate crimes and hate incidents towards members of our Asian communities here in Calgary.
This is no surprise to the community. The fear is really, really high in Alberta.
Teresa Wu Paw, founder of Act to End Racism, says anti-Asian racism has become more blatant and more pervasive.
Being people spat at and physically assaulted, yelled at, have been, part of what we hear almost on a weekly basis for the past 12 months.
Kevin has also used his YouTube show to call out liberal politicians and call them terrorists, specifically ones that are female and of Muslim descent, and has even said that they endorse female circumcision. Honestly, I could go on and on for hours about this Kevin J. Johnston guy. He has done so many terrible, fucked up things. He's essentially the boomer baked Alaska or Steven Crowder of Canada, and this guy's antics are absolutely outrageous. And recently the Serfs even talked about this guy, so definitely check out their video, linked in the description box below. And to basically take us right back to the beginning of this, Kevin J. Johnston is running for mayor of one of the largest cities in Western Canada. A man who seemingly is an open racist against Muslims and Asian people. A man who literally just finished endorsing a self-proclaimed neo-Nazi. Allegedly. All of this is allegedly, of course. This man is trying to run for mayor. He literally said that he wants to use the Canadian police force as his personal army.
Antifa, it's in your best interest to begin vacating Calgary now. Because the day I take office, I'll be declaring you a terrorist organization, and sending out my army. That's going to be Calgary Police Service. They're coming to get you. Now let me tell you something about them right now. Calgary Police don't like you. The reason that they do not come out and arrest you guys with nightsticks, which they should be doing, is because Naheed Nenshi is telling them not to. When Naheed Nenshi is no longer giving commands to that army, I will be the next general. We're coming for you. And I think you guys know it.
He's an unstable conspiracy theorist who again endorses fascists who literally punch people in fucking wheelchairs. That's the kind of scumbag that we're talking about here. Oh, but of course, since all of this made international news over the last couple of days, Kevin became a little bit too famous in the wrong way, and now is playing damage control and has his people screaming at the top of their lungs that this has nothing to do with the Freedom Rally or Kevin or anything like that, and instead the whole event is apparently staged by Antifa.
Now here we go. This is what happened. This man is seen now punching a man in a wheelchair. This man in the wheelchair was an agitator, but what person, it says proud white Christian man on his t-shirt, and then with the t-shirt open, he punches another man. This person looks like a paid, he's 100% some paid. Man, these guys are such liars. This looks so fake and staged. If a proud white Christian man was going to do this sort of action, a proud white Christian man was going to do this sort of action, you'd think he would button up his shirt to not be shown as a proud white Christian man being angry, because proud white Christian men really do not want to be seen as angry and violent right now, because they're under attack all the time at the moment.
How did that person even know to videotape that at that point?
How did the person even know to videotape that at that point in time? How did that person even know to have his shirt unbuttoned perfectly for this perfect punching picture and this perfect picture walking out? Like, this is foolishness. This is absolutely paid actor stuff. You're seeing new hashtag, freedom drama, freedom drama, freedom drama. Yo, this is the craziest.
It sure is interesting that the right wing are so scared, such snowflakes, that they can't even take responsibility for the people that show up at their rallies. But as you can see, this concerned citizen, this lady here, doesn't just want to find this guy and kick him out of their movement. She also wants to basically defend him as well, as shown here.
I just want to ask you this. If somebody yells at you when you've had a gloriously amazing, peaceful assembly all day long, when somebody yells something at you, do you immediately get angry? Or would they have to yell something at you again and again and again and again and again and again and again in order for you to finally react? If somebody yells something at me once and then comes close to me and then yells something at me again, I'm going to be like, step away from me, and I'm going to try to go around. I'm not going to engage, because that's foolishness. These people are foolish. They're angry and they're not breathing oxygen to their brains, so they're having brain damage. So these people they admitted that he advanced upon our person. This whole all cops are bad propaganda is false. Not all cops are bad. There are a few bad apples. There are a few bad apples everywhere. So calm down with this all cops are bad. If a police officer decided to grab her from behind, hands around her neck, run her backwards and slam her down onto a concrete planter, he must have witnessed this woman acting in a violent manner causing harm. And if he witnessed this person, this woman, acting in a violent manner, causing harm, yelling, screaming, whatever was going on, then maybe he would have grabbed her and slammed her to the ground. If she was standing there calm, breathing in and out peacefully, then he would never have knocked her to the ground.
In response to this, our Super Chad friend in the wheelchair released another statement saying, well, now that the right wing has gotten a hold of the story and are injecting their own truths, it's time to break down their fantasy. First off, no. The photo isn't staged by a bystander. The photo and the video is an iPhone live photo that was accidentally taken when the photo was taken. I'm not a paid protester, nor do I know the man who hit me. My wife yelled at the man, yes, but by that time the police showed up and she was standing off to the side and watching the resulting situation, and just being harpooned by a flagpole, she was in no position or shape to have pushed the man down the hill into the river. Not to mention, she is about 100 pounds soaking wet. The man who hit me was inside of the Freedom Rally with his shirt unbuttoned and exposed the entire time. See photos below from your march. Not only was this man and his partner present, take a look at their flags. And don't forget what his shirt says, proud white Christian man with 3 iron crosses. Now, let's talk about some of the others who were attending at the march. We got the guy dressed up in a kilt flying the red ensign, a symbol of monocultural Canada used by the alt-right and neo-Nazi groups in Canada, such as the Aryan Guard, the Canadian Nazi Party, the Proud Boys, Paul Frum, and a few other groups / individuals associated with the white supremacist movement in Canada. The 2 skinheads, who weren't skinheads 3 weeks ago at the last rally, the Canadian Crusaders, a splinter group of soldiers of Odin, urban infidels, woke ones, all of which are known hate groups. The bigger guy in the photo told me, hey boy, you better watch where you go in this city. The guy walking the dog in all white, Ricky Tolico, aka Rick Rush, founder of the Woke Ones Rebellion, who is a known racist, homophobe, and aggressor. Ricky and his girlfriend Charlotte are instigators and are working directly with helping fund Arthur Pawlowski and his street church. I will never stand beside known racists, homophobes, transphobes, ableists, and other bigots for any reason. And just so you know, I had to cut that statement down for time, but if you want to see the full statement, please follow the links in the description box below. And the scumbag dipshittery goes on and on and on. And if I don't end it here, then I'll never be able to end this video. So, this is an ongoing story. Clearly, Kevin likes to get himself into trouble, likes to do things that are openly racist, and is running for mayor in one of the largest cities in all of Western Canada. Like our incredibly brave activist friend who was assaulted said, the next time someone tries to tell you that this shit doesn't happen in Canada, that racism doesn't exist here, that Nazis are no longer around, or whatever bullshit fence-sitter excuses, here is your proof. At least that's the way he looks at it, and it's the way I look at it too. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out all the links in the description box below. Have a nice day.
And it's only a matter of time before one of you starts to cry, seeing what the inside of a jail cell is like, where real men are who can't wait to hurt you. You will give up all your friends' names, I guarantee you that. And each and every one of you is going to be on the Calgary City website as designated terrorists. I have had enough of Antifa and their racism, their anti-Semitism, their fascism, their hate, and their violence. You're going to learn a very valuable lesson. Left-wing politics only work for a very short amount of time. Look at every single time the left has run a country in human history. It's always fallen hard, and the left have always either been imprisoned or hanged. You're lucky we don't have the death penalty here, but you are going to prison. KevinJJohnston.ca